Welcome to this video on how to use Twitter. Now, Twitter is a microblogging site, or some people see it as SMS messages for the internet. You can access the site by going to www.twitter.com, or you can also use a lot of different applications out there like TweetDeck to access your Twitter account. So let's log on to the site and take a look. I am now logged on to Twitter. If you don't already have a Twitter account, go to twitter.com where you can sign up. When you're signing up, it asks you to choose a username. Now, this is sometimes called a Twitter handle as well. Here's mine here, so you'll always spot them because they're preceded by a ampersand. One of the first things you should do when you create your Twitter account is start to follow people. And to do that, you just search for them. Just type in their name. And it comes back in with some suggestions. So here's this Steve Martin here. I want to follow him. So you click on follow. And when you follow a person, what it means is that every time that person sends a tweet, you will see a copy of it in what's known as your timeline. So this box here is your timeline. It's sorted by the most, sorted by date. So the latest tweets, each one of these here is called a tweet. The most recent tweet is at the top. Some tweets will contain just text, like this one here, where others will contain links. Now, there's two main types of links. One is to a picture link. So here we can see here there's an option to view the photo. And you can hide the photo again. Or sometimes you will also see links to websites. So this is a music video here, and it links to an external site. You can click on that and it'll redirect you to the site. To send a tweet yourself, you go to the compose tweet here box. Now, you're limited to 140 characters, so you got to keep the message very short. And you pretty much, if you're used to sending a text message on a mobile phone, it's a very similar concept. Some people choose to shorten words, so you can just start typing. And just press tweet then. Now, who gets that tweet? Well, only your followers may pick up on that tweet. However, if you use a particular word and somebody searches for that, they may also see your tweets that way as well. Twitter requires time to get a following together. So if your following will be people that follow your account, and that takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Most important thing is to keep it going, keep on a particular subject, and people will eventually find you and follow you, and you can start to get a following that way. Now, when you're starting to send tweets, it's important to understand hashtags. So let me give you an example of a hashtag. So just click on Olympic ceremony here. So this is a good example here. So it's telling us tweet here, Arctic Monkeys covering Come Together. And you've got a hashtag, which is Olympic ceremony. Hashtags are really handy because they allow you to click on them and you'll see all other tweets with the same hashtag. You can see them all here. So if there's a particular event happening, find out what the hashtag is, search for it, and then you can click through and see what people are talking about. Now, you can start to use hashtags yourself. So you can say, let's just copy this one here. So you can start to say, really enjoyed the opening ceremony last night. So the Olympics opening ceremony was last night. So really enjoyed your opening ceremony last night. Press tweet. And that goes out there. So if I click on opening ceremony now, you'll see them all there, and my tweet will be in the middle of that as well. The next important thing to get used to is that if you want, it's fine sending out tweets about a particular subject, but Twitter gets really interesting when you interact with people, and even famous people, you can send a message to them, and sometimes they will get back to you. Now, to start to send a message to someone, best thing to do is in the composed tweet here, you put in the individual's name and what you need to say to them. So you put in at their Twitter name, and then it's the message you have for them. And you press tweet. So that is then sent that that person will pick it up because they'll see that somebody mentioned them on Twitter. So if you need to send a message to somebody, just compose a tweet. Start it with their name. Well, in fact, it doesn't have to be at the very start. You can mention their name anywhere, and that person will see then that you mentioned them and may get back to you. Another great way as well to kind of develop or get a following going is to mention people. To mention somebody, you could say, read a great blog post by, and then you could put a link to the blog post. So you're mentioning somebody within your tweet, and that person will see that as well, and they may follow you, or they may send you a tweet just asking you about it or whatever. So probably one of the number one things to do on Twitter is to mention people, is to send them a message, and just engage with people, and that way it gets a lot more interesting, and you get people's opinions and all that. The other thing to point out as well, let's go back to the home page here, is you also have trends. Here they are down here. So the Olympics open ceremony was last night, so it's obviously there. Steve Redgrave, the rower. So all the trending topics are here, and trending topics are ones where there's a lot of tweets associated with the particular subject. So that, these are popular subjects, and you can click on them here. So when you log on to Twitter, have a look at what's trending. It's always something very current that's trending. It's not some historical thing. It's usually something very something that's just after happening. You'll notice it in the trending option. The other tip for when you're using Twitter, if you start to follow lots and lots of people, you may find that your timeline here just becomes full very, very quick. So when you log on, you'll see there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new tweets. And sometimes if you're really hard in or time consuming, you're not going to read them all. So a good tip as well is that when you start to follow people, is to start to use lists. Now let me show you how you can set up a list. Click on some individual. Press this button here, and there's an option to add or remove from lists. I'm going to actually have a list already created there, so I can create a new list. Let's call it favorites. You can select public or private. I'm just going to create a private list, just that I'm the only one then that can see it. So press save list. So let me just check and see if I added that. So add or remove from lists. Actually, I didn't create the list yet, so let's just type in that again. Favorites, save list. So the list is created, and I've added this particular user to that list. And to access your list as well, when you log on, you click the little button drop down up here, click on lists. So within here then is all my lists, and I just click on favorites, and I'll only see tweets then associated with people I've associated with this list. So you can divide them up based on topics, based on whatever, local people, maybe sport and things like that. So it becomes much easier then to go through your lists, because some lists you might want to check every day, some lists you might not check that often. So they're the basics of using Twitter. The other thing as well, if you're into maybe photography, creating videos, maybe blog articles. Twitter is very much about the now. It's live. It's if something happens, people tweet about it. Within hours, it goes away. People forget about it. Something else happens. Time moves on. So if you're going to be posting, if you're at a particular event, maybe you're at a football match and you're sending some tweets about it, just make sure you send them live from the event. If you come home and start sending tweets, people have moved on. They're not interested anymore. So if you're going to send tweets about a live event, about something that's happening, be sure to try and do it there and then. That's when people are most interested in a particular subject. That's when the subjects are trending. So it's very much about the now Twitter. It's current, what's happening right now. Time moves on very quick in the world of Twitter. So that's all you need to do to get up and running on Twitter. So the main thing is follow people, engage with them, mention them, and you'll start to get a following going. And if you start to follow lots of people, make sure you take a look at the lists.